This video is sponsored by Fiverr. What's up, dude? One of the main objectives of my YouTube channel here is to make you a seriously better cook. I really do want that for you. And personally, I am a real sucker for slow-cooked, saucy, meaty, melt-in-your-mouth winter comfort foods. Which is why when you make this recipe, you will finally dethrone Grandma for best pot roast of all time. Oh! Now let's go! When it comes to pot roast, I'm almost always choosing chuck roast. It just is your standard M16 of pot roast dinners. I think it's just perfect for braising. However, if you can't find a chuck roast, here are some other cuts you could potentially use. Just remember when you're at the store choosing your beef, just look for a piece where the fat is marbled into the meat. That is so important when you're slow cooking beef. One thing that's definitely gonna make this pot roast stand out a little bit is this rosemary salt. If you know, you know. It's a homemade seasoning we make on this channel. It's got rosemary, garlic, sage, a little touch of lemon zest, and it's popular for a very good reason. I will put a link to that video down in the description as well as the recipe. You just blend it all up. It is super easy. So I'm gonna really take my time here and just season all around. Kind of rub it in a little bit. Oh yeah. Try to get that edge a little bit too, why not? And dip up all this stuff around. Next up, a little bit of Sergeant Gilbert reporting for duty. Wait, where's his little song? Play his little song. There it is. There it is. That's fresh ground black pepper. On another note, you may have noticed I'm not tying up this pot roast. The only reason I would do it is if I thought this was really gonna fall apart, or if I wanted to get some really nice presentation in a circular sort of slice. But I feel like if you're making pot roast, it's not really like you're thinking about presentation too much. At least I'm not. Just gonna do the other side now. Let's sear this thing off. Nice hot pan, a little bit of neutral cooking oil. High smoke point is preferred. This is avocado, good amount, about 3 tablespoons of oil. Let it shimmer. A little bit of smoke coming off, not billowing. Careful, we're gonna lay the meat in. Barely gonna fit. Always lay it away from you, right? So if that oil splashes, it splashes somewhere else besides you. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. There we go. A little bit of pressure. It's been going for 5 or 6 minutes. Let's give it a flip. That's about as perfect as a sear can be. Same thing on the other side. When that other side looks good, go ahead and get it out. Set that aside. You can get rid of that pan now. No! Look at all that delicious fond. I'm quite fond of it. God, dude.
That was unreal.
Now I'm going in with some diced onion next. Same pan, heat's about medium. And I'm actually gonna use the moisture that's in these onions and start scraping the bottom right now. You'll understand why in a minute. All that fond is coming right off and it's going into the onions. Man, that smells good. You know when people walk in your house and you're cooking and they always say it smells so good? It's always just onions. It's always onions. It's never not onions. You can see that pan now is completely clean of the fond. Oh, whoops. Onions have been going just for about 6 minutes. Now, I'm getting the onions out into the pot, the Dutch oven that I'm gonna be cooking the pot roast in. I'll tell you why. Because you may just be thinking, why didn't you just sear the chuck roast in that pot? It's because these pots suck for searing meat. Always use a stainless steel pan when you're searing meat. Your sear is gonna be so much better. I've tried searing meat in these pots and I'll have that heat high for like 10 minutes, put the meat in, and it just doesn't get that crust. But what happens is the pan gets all burnt up the sides, which then gets deglazed back into your sauce when you add the wet ingredients. It's just no good. You can experiment for yourself. There may be a cast iron one that doesn't do that, but this sort of enameled material definitely is not great for searing. So I'm just adding some crushed garlic in there right now, which I'll cook down for 3 or 4 minutes, at which point we're gonna add one of my favorite ingredients ever, tomato paste. I say tomato, I still say it. I really love the color this gives your pot roast, as well as a little bit of body and thickness to the sauce. Awesome. Just always remember to cook it down for at least 5 minutes or so first to get rid of that tartness and deepen the flavors. I'm gonna turn the heat down just a touch. Next, I'm going in with some flour. Yes, that's right, flour. I add the flour so I don't end up with a watery sauce. I want something that's just slightly thick. Next up, I'm adding a little bit of oil. Probably can get away with not doing it, but it doesn't hurt. Now, same with the tomato paste, you wanna cook the flour for about 5 minutes. Cook off any of that raw flour taste. Next thing's going in is a little bit of wine, just about a cup. It's just Cabernet Sauvignon. You could use another one. If you don't cook with alcohol, just leave the wine out entirely. It's still gonna be very, very good. Now we're gonna cook this down. Cook down the tomato paste, cook down the flour, cook down the wine. This is how it kind of works. We're packing down these flavors and components. We don't just throw it all in. Wine's cooked down for about 5 minutes. Now I'm going in with a few more kind of unconventional ingredients, but trust me, they're only gonna make it so much better. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, touch of balsamic vinegar. I know that seems weird, but it's just gonna lift this up a little bit, but I want to explain more about that in a minute. Just a little, 2 teaspoons. And lastly, this marmite, which is a secret family ingredient recipe that I use for gravies and sauces and any kind of braised things. Think of this like beef bouillon. It is just packed with flavor. And it's gonna add such a nice punch to this dish. I freaking love Marmite. It's to Britain me. I'm gonna work all that in. And now, little by little, we're gonna start adding in our beef stock, which is actually remoulade from our recent beef stock video. And I highly suggest you learn how to make that one. I will put a link to that video at the end of this one. It is really important to know how to do. Now, I'm gonna whisk in the beef stock, let this come back to a boil, or simmer rather. You may also be wondering why there's no vegetables. I like to add those definitely later in the cooking process so they don't overcook. Once that simmers and thickens up again, we're gonna add some more beef stock. Sorry, remoulade. Probably wondering what remoulade is. Watch the video, you'll find out. Give me your views. I want your attention. Attention. Yes, touch me. Give me more views. Look, you could make a pot roast and you could literally use only beef stock, but the whole kind of profile of that, or however you want to call it, will be really flat and mellow. Anybody who's been cooking for any amount of time knows that fat, aka chuck roast, needs to pair beautifully with an acidic ingredient to balance out your dish. The acidic ingredients here is the wine, the tomato paste, the Worcestershire sauce, the balsamic vinegar. Having those acidic ingredients in your sauce paired with that fatty beef is just gonna make the perfect bite. More remoulade. And if you're serious about getting good about cooking, I want you to keep fat and acid in the mind all the time. Putting lime in guacamole is fat and acid. Putting wine in a cream sauce is fat and acid. Even dipping French fries into ketchup is fat and acid. There's a lot of vinegar in that ketchup. You'll be so surprised how just squeezing a little bit of lemon on a piece of grilled chicken can just change the whole experience. Keep it in mind. Last little bit of remoulade going in, and we'll bring it back to a simmer once more. Here we go, my friends. Chuck roast now going in. Look at that. Woo! Oh my God, this is already so exciting. Little juices off the tray, always get those in there. Now I'm gonna put a cracked lid on it. If you watch this channel, you know I love the cracked lid method. It helps it breathe and reduce a little bit while trapping a lot of that heat and steam at the same time. And it's gonna go straight in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. You could probably get away with 350 if you want, but low and slow is always good. And we're gonna let that roll first for 2 hours before we move on to these vegetables. And while that pot roast cooks, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Fiverr. Fiverr is the largest marketplace for digital freelancer services in the world. And they have plenty of really talented freelancers providing services like website design, graphic design, AI services, video editing, interior design, and so much more. And it doesn't really matter where you're at or what your current budget is, there are Fiverr freelancers that can help you grow your business today. And if you're someone who prefers face-to-face meetings, or you just want to make sure that your freelancer is a really great fit, you can now connect to Fiverr freelancers through personalized consultations before starting your project. All freelancers receive a star rating out of 5 based on previous projects they have delivered. Freelancers also share portfolios which provide an insight into their creative style and previous work. A few months back now, I actually just launched my first website, which I did completely by myself. And to be very honest with you, I think the overall quality of it wasn't that good. To fix this, I literally just went onto Fiverr and typed website designer into the search box. I took some time to shop around for freelancers and checked out their reviews as well as their portfolios. And once I found the perfect match, I reached out to them to get the process started. They reached back out to me lightning fast, and the communication we had back and forth was absolutely effortless. Once everything was finalized and they started my project, they literally turned it around in just a few days with exceptional results. I am honestly just so happy with how my website looks right now. The before and after is literally night and day. Head to fiverr.co/sunny to see the services they have available and get 10% off by using code SUNNY. Thank you so much, Fiverr, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's go finish up this pot roast. Currently it's 10 minutes shy of 2 hours, or an hour and 15 minutes depending on which way you look at it. Or 10 to 2. It's also another way you could say that. At this point, I'm gonna prepare the vegetables. We're gonna start by just peeling these carrots here, and I'm gonna show you how to cut them into these obliques. Sonny, what's an oblique? Is it like side abs, or like what is that? I'm like, no, dude, it's just another way that you cut a vegetable up. And just remember, these carrot peels make incredible trash can stuffers. I don't know, maybe there is something you can do with them, but I feel like I see a lot of people just taking all these vegetable scraps and making stock, but the peels tend to be bitter, and so you end up with some junk stock. Junk. Let me show you this oblique, really easy. I'm just gonna take off that little top, and we're just gonna take an angle like this, cut, and we're gonna roll, and we're gonna cut, and we're gonna roll, we're gonna cut, we're gonna roll. So the knife's always staying in the same position. I'm just rolling the carrot. It's just a nice shape. I just think it's a great shape for stews and such, glazed carrots, roasted carrots, whatever you want to do with carrots. Just when you get down to the end, do a heavier angle so they stay the same sort of mass. That's it. And next, the potatoes. I have these smaller red and gold potatoes. I'll take these bigger ones here and just quarter them. And if they're small like this, they'll just go straight in half like so. And I'm gonna drop these potatoes right into some cold water to rinse off some of that excess starch. I fear that if I don't do this, my sauce is gonna end up too thick and sort of gummy from all that excess thickener, which is the starch. So, just like so. There we go, 2 hours on the meat. Let's take a look at it. Oh man, you guys seeing what I'm seeing? You are. That smells so good. I swear, you make this for a dinner party, people are gonna walk in your house, they're gonna say, oh my God, does a Michelin star chef live in this house? They're gonna say, oh my God, are you Gordon Ramsay? Nice to meet you. Here's a tip because that's so good. I haven't even tried it yet, but here's your tip already. Should we dump it? People are gonna smell this and they're gonna walk into your house and they're gonna go, oh my God, what the f? Just dump it all. All right, my friends, potatoes, drop them in, get them around. Make sure they're submerged in the liquid. Of course, if you want to just make mash instead and not put potatoes in the sauce, come on, you know it's gonna be amazing, right? You can do that. You can do whatever you want. In they go, in go the carrots. Work those under, right? The potatoes are also gonna thicken up that sauce. I did rinse them, but they're still gonna thicken up the sauce, which is what we want. I see stuff like this, I get excited. I don't know. Saucy, meaty, braised things. Let's go. One last thing, I'm just gonna tuck in some thyme, just fresh thyme. We'll just pick it out later. If you want, you could tie it up or something, but I really don't mind. Now, crack the lid back on, and we're gonna put it back in the oven for probably about an hour, give or take, but I'll let you know when it comes out. Peace! All right, my friends, here we are. I let it go a little bit longer for another hour and a half, so that's 3.5 hours total. 2 hours with just the beef, an hour and a half with the beef and vegetables. And I'll tell you what, if taking a look at that doesn't get you excited, I don't really think you're human, because that looks insane. Look at the color on it. Oh. Yup. Don't put that in. Don't. Now, at this point, you're gonna be extremely tempted just to dig into this and eat it right away. And by all means, if you want to, you can. I'm not gonna hate on you for it. However, I gotta leave you with the truth today. And the truth is, if you let this rest in the liquid it cooked in for at least 45 minutes to an hour, 30 minutes if you wanna cut it close, it is gonna get so much more tender. Just like you need to rest a steak, you need to rest your braised meat. You may even hear people who make this stuff the day before and then reheat it the next day. That is the ultimate if you have that kind of foresight and patience. But otherwise, let it sit for at least 30 minutes. Nothing left to do but serve it up and give it a taste. Marcus is going to a potluck after this. That's insane. Go dig in, buddy.
I'm not using a knife.
You don't need a knife. Oh my God, am I just gonna do straight meat? Are you sure about this?
Blow it. I bet that means it's good. I'm no savant.
Oh my God.
I got a feeling that means something good.
I think you have to try this piece right here, Marcus, because that's just nuts. Try that piece right there, dude. That was the piece that set me off. Ooh.
Yeah, whatever. We're supposed to talk because it's work or whatever. It's so good, I'm just gonna keep eating.
That sauce, I'm telling you, the balsamic vinegar, the Worcestershire sauce, the marmite, all those little things add up to make something that's just like, God, that is so freaking good.
It's so good you could get caught carrying it in a water bottle and you wouldn't even care.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have nothing to say. It's a 10, dude. It's a 10. Make it.
Well, it's the end of the video. You should be putting sneakers on and going to get everything you just saw in the video.
Go get it. Go get a chuck roast before they run out.
They're gonna run out.
They're gonna run out. You want that for
You want to be the one guy not eating this?
Do you want to do that, James? You want to be that guy? Now, I hope you feel ready to show up your grandma. And on that note, grandma's got some seriously old and terrible cooking equipment, so if you need to restock your kitchen with some good stuff like I use here on this channel, definitely check out all those links down in the description. We've also got an ebook called Master in the Making that has 55 of my personal favorite recipes over the last 5 years. And if you want to keep learning today, here are 2 more winter comfort food recipes that are just out of this world. Until next time, you know I love you and I'm out! Thank you so much, Fiverr, for sponsoring today's video. And remember to check out fiverr.co/Sunny and use code Sunny to get 10% off the services that you need.